we have our restaurants, and whenever you create one, you want it to have a legitimate location. So when we create a restaurant here and we enter in the address, city, state, and zip code, we want that to return an actual location so that we can either point it out to use the Google API and get a correct map here, or when we do a search, we can search by location and actually retrieve accurate results. So the best way to do that is by geolocation. So in our gem file here, what we need to do is go into gem, geocoder. So we'll add the geocoder gem. So we want to do a bundle install here. And for me, anytime I add a new gem, I like to restart the Rails server just because, and I think you have to with Geocoder, it just cleans it up a little bit more. So now we have to go into our restaurant RB file, and in here say geocoded by full address. We're going to define full address here in a bit. After validation, geocode. So define full address. We're going to grab all of our address fields. So address 1, city, state, zip code. By doing all of that, we're going to join them. So it essentially is grabbing all of these columns and making it into one string so that Geocoder knows to grab all of this, take all of this into consideration when it's trying to grab its latitude and longitude. And speaking of that, what we need to do is create a migration file, railsg migration, add lat long to restaurants. So add lat long. So we need to add 2 columns to our restaurants table. We need to add a latitude and make it a float, and add a longitude and make it a float as well. Now this is very important. You have to name these latitude and longitude, and they both have to be floats. If you don't do that, Geocoder won't work. If you do rake db migrate, and now when we go to our schema, should have a latitude and longitude column, both of them being floats. Now when we go in here and create a new restaurant, so we'll call it Jimmy's, I'll just say Indian for whatever reason, Great Chicken. Now we put in here Chicago, Illinois, create a restaurant. You don't see anything here, but if we go into our Rails console, new restaurant.last, you'll see that it went through and grabbed the latitude and longitude of Chicago, Illinois. And what we can do with this is point it out to the Google API so that we get an accurate map here, and we can do searches, conduct searches, and if we put in there search for restaurants in Chicago, we'll actually get correct and accurate data. So with very little code, all we had to do was add the geocoder gem, add a few lines of code here to tell Geocoder what to find, what to use to get the location, and then add 2 columns on our restaurant table, which are float columns for our latitude and longitude. So very, very powerful gem to get you accurate and legitimate addresses and locations.